Welcome to episode 358 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and I got a great panel this week. Chuck Joyner has joined us. How are you doing, Chuck? Glad you're here.
I'm good, David. I'm good. I'm having one of those days, so this is just a very nice treat to be with this crew.
Oh, great. So glad you're here. And so also glad he's here. Back is there Eric Bolden. How you doing, Eric?
Oh, great. Wonderful day today.
Yes, it was actually breezy today, but not too bad. The weather was really good. Marty Jencius has joined us. I'm glad you're here. How are you doing, Marty?
I got to sleep in a little bit this morning, and when I woke up, the smoke coming out of my kitchen was white, which tells me that we had chosen a new breakfast.
Oh, I thought that meant you moved to Colorado.
Oh,
Or the Vatican. We do have a new pope. Jeff Gamet is here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right, and it's great to be hanging out with you and everyone else.
Absolutely. So we got plenty to talk about this week. There's the normal stuff in Vision Pro, In Touch with Mac, and a little bit of Apple Intelligence discussion, and all kinds of other stuff. Oh, In Touch with Vision Pro this week, there isn't much to really talk about other than the fact that the release candidate of Vision Pro 2.5, that's now the release candidate version, is out, and I don't think we're really going to expect much. I haven't had a chance to look too much at it. Anything you saw, Marty?
oh yeah. You know, just when you think it's going to be little things that you won't notice in terms of bugs and things like that, they have redone the Apple TV app on the Vision Pro. So, you know how you have Apple TV Plus, you have Store, you have all of that stuff along the side. There's now a tab that is just Vision Pro goggles. And when you click on that tab, all of your immersive video options come up.
Oh my gosh.
And it is so, because you know how it used to be searching for immersion video embedded in the Apple TV app was difficult. Now it's like the movies that you've bought that are 3D and immersive, the products and the video that Apple's putting out, it all comes up in that tab, and it's, you know, the slider windows where you can select what you want from it. So a little, you know, it's again, these little things they do, but real surprised that they decided to do it in the release candidate.
Yeah. Eric, did you see anything that when you updated?
I haven't gone to the beta yet, so I got to wait.
Oh, I thought you went to the beta. Oh, that's right. You are the one that just doesn't want to go out to beta on a Vision Pro.
Trying to live safe.
Yeah, Eric doesn't have a printer at home. He has a Gutenberg press.
Oh my! Oh my! Wow. Moving on.
That's why Eric has all the bird pictures. He uses a quill pen.
Hey, you have to grow your pens somewhere.
Yeah, well,
yeah. But Eric, if you're doing your own typesetting with your Gutenberg press, don't lick your fingers. You're going to get lead poisoning.
Is that what happened?
There's that. Okay.
That'll do it.
That's where my hair went.
One other thing
Poor Dave. We've hijacked his show.
No, I'm moving on here. One other thing I wanted to mention: there was a news release yesterday or a couple days ago as we record. There's going to be 5 new games launched on Apple Arcade. That's going to be on June 5th, which is Uno arcade version, the award-winning game What the Car for Vision Pro. I am not too familiar since this is a game, but it looks like it's an indie developer that has this hilarious racing adventure. It takes us on a whole new dimension using a floating TV portal with legs and extendable steering wheel. I see the image here on the news release. You'll have to take a look at it. Again, not much of a big of a gamer, but just thought I'd mention that. There wasn't really much else on Vision Pro. Did you see this at all, Marty?
Yeah, other than the image, I'm looking at the image and seeing sort of a first-person driver experience. You know, you're sitting in the view of the front seat of the car, and you can see in the image what probably are the hand configurations of the person who's, through their point of view is driving the car. So your hands look like they will come up as gray hands that will turn the steering wheel.
Yep. Beta this week. Let's move on. The release candidate, of course, Vision Pro had it. Now iOS 18.5, iPad OS 18.5 release candidates are out. Generally, they're minor updates, but there were some enhancements that were found. The fact that there's going to be some of these enhancements that include a lot of other like satellite connectivity for the iPhone 13, which is interesting. That's an old model. They're going to have that available for that iPhone. Subtle tweaks and things like that. I don't know. What have you seen anything, Marty? A difference?
The cool part is the now Pride screens that are available and for wallpapers for iOS and iPad OS, and it parallels the release of the new Pride strap, which I don't know if you read anything about that. It's kind of unique. They basically cut up pieces of the different polyester of different colors, and then they kind of mold them all together. So each band, in a sense, is supposed to be unique. It's not the same pattern. It's just what they've thrown into the mold at that time with the different strips and the different colors. So looking at what the band looks like and then looking at what the wallpapers look like, it seems like they're drawing on that continuity.
Yep. Parents can now receive a notification when the screen time passcode is used on a child's device. That's for parents trying to keep their kids in good with screen time. Buy with iPhone is available when purchasing content within the Apple TV app on a third-party device. So it did fix an issue with the Vision Pro that it may display a black screen. And I mentioned the iPhone 13 with the satellite, which is cool. Beyond that, it's a release candidate, so we probably can anticipate release, I would say, next week, which is generally what Apple does after a release candidate. So stay tuned. You'll be seeing it next week, and we'll find out what's going on with that. So WatchOS is out. Is going to be out. WatchOS 11, was it 11.5? I believe it is, and tvOS 18.5 will be released along that as well. Nothing really much you could say about that, but it's definitely going to be interesting here. So quick on the beta, not much else to talk about that with that. Mac OS Sequoia is going to be out. It's 15.5 release. Not too much there. I don't think you've seen anything, Marty. I haven't either. No. Have you?
No.
As well. This one is kind of interesting to me. This is of course kind of future, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about here. Future Magic Mouse could bring Vision Pro style air gestures to Macs. Apple is exploring this groundbreaking redesign for the Mac Magic Mouse, potentially transforming how Mac users interact with their devices. It was a newly granted patent that Apple Insider had found that the Magic Mouse is going to detect gestures made in the air beside it, not just the surface, drawing inspiration from the intuitive gesture controls of the Apple Vision Pro. So I found this to be kind of interesting. It's I don't know why it doesn't matter really, but it could potentially give you some view into the future, maybe to what could happen on the Mac. As long as they put the gosh darn USB-C connector on the front of the mouse instead of the bottom of it, I will be happy. Well, anybody have any comments on this?
I think that they're actually addressing that with the Vision Pro support. And the way it'll work is you still have to charge by flipping the mouse over, unplug the cable in the bottom, but your Vision Pro will make it look like the mouse is right side up.
And you have to buy you have to buy a $3,500 adapter called the Vision Pro because you plug it right into your Vision Pro.
Right.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. Apple patents so many things that
I know.
You have to wonder, but I guess there are worse things. I mean, was it the Magic Leap or the Leap? I can't remember that put the little sensor in front of your screen, and then you could allegedly do hand gestures and all that. And okay, fine. A la Minority Report. Maybe it would be nice to just have a couple key features that you could just wave your hand or tap beside the mouse instead of having to pick it up. I want to see what it's going to do. I want to see what they have in mind with it.
I might be in the minority here, but I don't like Seth Rogen, and I do like the Magic Mouse. In fact, I find it hard to use other mice other than a Magic Mouse. Just the Surface Touch and all of that. So if they add more things, I think it will add value to the product. If they can add more things to it, or how true this is, we'll find out.
I really hope that they ship something like this, because I think if they work out all of the techniques on a mouse, that they could bring that out with either a display or a speaker where you could do some additional gestures and not just have to tap on the top. So there's a lot of potential.
Yeah, no, it's definitely got a lot of potential, and just like I said, the number one thing is just move the port, please. For all intents and purposes, it seems like that's what Apple's looking towards to do. Like they've been getting grief for this mouse for many years, and I mean, I like the Magic Mouse. I don't use it all the time. Been using that trackpad, touchpad, Magic Trackpad, that is, But yeah, I mean that mouse isn't bad. Just the charging button. Come on,
Dave.
come on, Apple.
I have an idea here.
Okay.
So Apple could leave the charge port on the bottom, and then sell a new product called the Apple Mouse Pad, which is a wireless charging pad. So you just leave your mouse on the mouse pad all the time and use it there. And it's charging simply because it's sitting on your Apple Mouse Pad. And that way you never have to turn it over.
With the idea of having to turn it over to plug it in, the same people that were complaining, oh, you don't need to you can have the button underneath. You don't need it on the side for the Mac Mini. We can deal with the button underneath, are the same people that will complain, but the mouse, you have to charge it from the bottom. You could come up with another solution that's just like they've done with the button, where they have an external piece that you put on that charges your mouse right side up.
Jeff,
they could call it the mouse tail.
Yeah.
Jeff, I know you're being a little flip about it, but at this particular Mac, I have this Logitech keyboard, which has been here for a long time, and it's solar powered. So it doesn't. I don't remember the last time I had to plug it in to charge it. And so the idea of having a mouse pad that recharges the mouse wirelessly, I mean, I don't hate that. Or having
I don't hate it either, even though I said it tongue in cheek.
Yeah. I mean, or if you just had a little, go ahead, Jeff, you can name this, but a little pocket or something that you tuck that mouse in to charge it, just right beside your Mac or whatever, so that you just pull it out and use it. There are a number of ways that could actually turn out to be really decent.
We'll call it the mouse pouch.
And we've got rechargeable AirPod cases where you can just drop them on a key charger or a MagSafe charger, and it will charge. Should be able to do the same thing with the mouse.
Years ago, I had I don't remember which company made it, but it was replacement batteries for the Magic Mouse, and it had the plate built into it, so you stick this whole thing on, and it's rechargeable battery pack, and it came with its own wireless charging mat. So when you're not using the mouse, you set it on this thing that looks like a little soap dish, and it would charge. And when you're ready to use it, you just take it off and use it normally. That thing was so cool.
Well, or you get two of them and just swap them out.
Oh,
you always have one charged.
Oh, gosh. All right. Let's move on to another topic, Apple Intelligence. Now, Apple did release an ad this week, just about a little less than a week ago, and they had a hands-on with Apple Intelligence video to walk through all the current Apple Intelligence features and how to use them. Interesting. The video shies away from any of the unavailable Apple Intelligence features like personalizing Siri replies and instead focuses on what's available now. Well, they should have done that in the first place, as far as I'm concerned. Cleaning up in photos, the Genmoji, image playground, mail summaries, writing tools, vision, and visual intelligence, and then the ChatGPT integration. After delaying this, all these other features, Apple took down the ads and then highlighted the functionality. So I don't think that has anything to do with it. And we had a lot of discussion about the facing a lawsuit on this, and I don't want to get into that. But what are your guys' true thoughts on Apple Intelligence? I want to start with you, Jeff. Where do you think it is now? Now that Apple's declared, hey, these are what we have so far, and where are we going with it? Because I've got a lot of thoughts on AI in general, but I would like to hear what you have to say.
Well, I can't praise Apple for doing this. They don't get praise for doing what they should have done in the beginning, which is highlight just the features they have. But I'm glad they're finally being honest about what's available. At the same time, I think for a lot of people, it's just not going to matter because they're already using other tools for the AI-related things that they want. So, like they have questions, they let ChatGPT answer them. So, yeah, great. Highlight the features you have, and nothing else. Yeah.
How about you, Chuck? What's been your thoughts on Apple Intelligence?
I've talked about it before. I feel like Apple has not given itself enough credit because it's just been slowly integrating a lot of these features into the OSs and not calling them Apple Intelligence. Just saying, hey, you can do this, you can do that.
Yeah.
You remove the ugly person from your photo, as long as it's not you. And that
why am I not in any of my photos?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I feel like they've not given themselves enough credit for what they have. Yeah, okay, so they got caught with their pants down a little bit, being a little too aggressive with what they thought they could do. And I know I'm in the minority, at least on this panel, when it comes to that particular position. I think it's going to just depend going forward, how much they want to brand Apple Intelligence versus just calling it part of the OS. So I'm anxious to see, because it would be there. I think on somebody's show we talked about the fact that there was a pretty serious group that would pay something for Apple Intelligence. Right now, I'm paying for ChatGPT. Be nice not to have to pay for that, or pay Apple for it if it gets to the same kind of level and quality for privacy and security reasons, if nothing else.
Yep. How about you, Eric? What's your thoughts on where we're at with the Apple Intelligence?
Well, the parts that we have seem to have improved, and they're available in more places. Being able to search through gazillions of pictures and find, specific things like kids stuck in a pot or cars in a parking lot. I've used it and it worked, and I got results that I was...
Wait. Kids stuck in a pot.
In a pot?
You can't just drop that on us and move on.
And that came so naturally. It feels like you probably have a picture of a kid stuck in a pot. And why weren't you helping them?
Well, it was a theme, right? And if it happens, you really want to take the picture for later. And I had a bunch of them, but I didn't know where they were, right? And searching through hundreds of thousands of pictures, it's hard to find. So I've got the one kid where, I was telling this whole story about the frog in the pot. So I got a big stainless steel pot, and there's a kid in the pot, right?
So you put a kid in a boiling pot of water?
Well, it wasn't boiling. It was an empty pot, but the thought was there.
The story's not getting any better, Eric.
I just did a Google search, kid stuck in a pot, and there's nothing good or funny coming up. Eric.
Well, and then I've got all of these really nice pottery plant pots. They're decorated. They look really cool. And, each kid went in a pot, and I took a picture. Okay, in my head, it was cooler than it's come out here. But the point is that I could search for it and it returned it. And that really surprised me because I hadn't been able to find the pictures any other way. And, the last thing you want to do is print everything out and say, nope. This is much easier. So I have been really happy with image searching. It has far exceeded what I had hoped for. And, yes, I can't hold a conversation with the yes lady, but that's probably good. So, yeah, I'm happy and things can only improve.
Didn't you see Shogun, Eric?
No.
Oh my God, I did get to see that episode before.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. I didn't get to see the whole series, but I did see at least that up to that.
Because that was the first thing that popped in my mind when he said that. It's like,
so now I've got this whole thing in my head where Eric's at home and he says something like, "Hey, S lady, what's the weather today?" "Hi, Eric. Let me show you pictures of children in pots."
All right, Marty.
That would be more Alexa would do that than.
Except at my house, the S lady would gladly.
Would you like to buy a picture of a kid in a pot?
Yeah.
And if the smoke comes out while a kid's in the pot and it's white, the kid is Pope.
Or they're done.
Yeah.
Ouch.
The only thing that I am concerned about with Apple Intelligence will be what's it going to be like on July 11th at 9:00 in the morning when I have to talk about it at MacStock. At this point, I'm just holding on, hoping that we'll see some improvements that'll make it unique. I like Eric. I'm actually more like Chuck. I'm forgiving in these things where people may have gotten ahead of their skis on it, and it's aspirational, it's not actual yet, and they're discovering all the problems with doing what they said they were going to do, but the stuff that I use works well, and it works particularly well in Vision OS with the voice prompts.
Okay. Just to kind of spin off on AI in general, I talk about the top three: Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Apple is using ChatGPT to link to it, which is I think I've been enjoying it ever since I was decided to purchase a monthly subscription to it. Trying to get people to understand how to use it, I think, is a challenge. I'm going to be working on some teachings later, not too long from now, to discuss with people. How do you use Copilot? What would you use it for? Not knowing specifically what they would do it for. Marty, you being a teacher, and you're obviously going to talk a little bit about it. Not that I want you to share everything you're going to talk about at MacStock. How would you apply to that to some folks? So that, how would you want it to be able to talk to people on what AI can do for you, and how you can be better at it? Or where would you take them? What would come to that?
Well, I might blow my whole talk here, but I think there's AI 101, which is here it is. This is what it isn't. This is what it is.
Yeah.
This is how you put stuff in it. Then AI 201 is, this is a prompt engineer. You can find these all over the place. And here are some sources for finding prompt engineers. So you're kind of dependent on what you can find. And then AI 301 is how do you use AI to generate a unique prompt engineer for the tasks that you have at hand that are repetitive tasks like workshop development, things like that, where you can just the engine gives you the prompts that you need and you give it the information that you want, and it generates a result based on what specific information you put in it. Most folks are not even at 101 yet. They don't understand it. They think it's a search engine, and it's more than that. It's a interactive modeling sort of thing. And when you show them 201, they go, oh, wow, that's cool. When you get them to think about how they could personalize it by 301, you've got something, you've got them going on some things. So,
yeah. Chuck, you just, like you said, you just signed up for ChatGPT. How has it been for you as far as finding things? Do you find it to be much more improved to finding things that you've done in the past when you were just doing it on either Google or without the license for ChatGPT? You're muted.
Sorry about that. I've been using it now for several months, and sort of like what Marty said, I'm sure I'm not even I haven't graduated from 101 yet, because first of all, I have to remember to use it. But then when I remember, it's like, okay, and every time I use it, and that's not much of an exaggeration. Every single time I feel like I learned just a little something. And so I'm excited to hear Marty's talk, but just with my own explorations, I can't say that I necessarily on a regular basis use exactly what it spits out to me, but it gets me part way up, in fact, a long way toward what I was trying to do. The one thing that Marty said, it's not a search engine. Yeah, I know it's not a search engine, but I'll tell you what, I'm starting to use it like a search engine, because instead of getting 25 pages where then I have to click again to get to something and decide if that's it or not, ChatGPT will give me the answer and say, here's what it is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can validate it by implementing that. Pardon me. So far, I have not been disappointed, much to my surprise.
Me either.
So it's almost a more specific search engine, and that right there is enough to make me pay attention to it. But everything that I'm learning beyond that, I feel like I'm understanding why people are excited about this. I just have to figure out how to get to that level of excitement.
Chuck, the fact that you're using ChatGPT to do some search stuff actually does not surprise me at all, and I think that really is a growing trend, and it's not by accident. OpenAI wants to eat Google's lunch in this space, and Google search has really deteriorated in quality over the years, and OpenAI, I really think, is leveraging that and getting people to use ChatGPT as a search engine, and that's a thing they want. A perfect example is the whole thing that people are starting to use now with using ChatGPT to do web searches for products. And it works surprisingly well. The results that I've gotten with my tests doing that are far superior to what I get with the same Google search.
Jeff, I just want to touch on that, because it's funny you said that, because I was just thinking about where I think Google is still superior, and I would have said that maybe product searches, depending on the kind of product search, I still find serious value in what Google pops up and shows me. If I wasn't deadly precise with it, I'm trying to think of some generic thing. Let's say a table lamp. If I'm looking for a table lamp with a black shade and a wooden base, and the fact that Google will show me a lot of those as opposed to what ChatGPT will show me, still makes it a little more valuable. But if I said I want a table lamp with a black shade and a wooden base, and some particular pattern, and it was made by General Electric, ChatGPT is probably going to find it and give me what I want faster because I've given it more to work with.
Well, and if you do a search where you want to be able to compare products, ChatGPT, I think, is surprisingly superior in that space right now.
And for me, when I use Google, it's like I have to do the search each time when it gives me stuff that's not quite right. I have to rewrite the prompt in it, and it feels like it's a fresh start all over again. Whereas with ChatGPT, I can say, no, I want lamps with a black shade. I don't want, eliminate all lamps with a black shade, and it will go back to the source and just that's the information that I'll get. So it seems more corrective than Google searches.
And do you, Chuck, I'm going to go back to you again. Do you find any effectiveness being able to have the ability to do it on the iPhone too? Because going back to the comparison, I did a search of what are the best 4K monitors under $500, and it did come with all those product reviews and the links to those items depending on where you could purchase them. But having the ability to be able to do it on the iPhone has got to be a game changer, and not having to be at your computer all the time. And it could be really a search engine because you can do it so quickly on an iPhone.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, anything you can do on an iPhone changes the game because it's mobile. To your point, I don't have to be sitting in front of the computer. I can be, I can have pulled into a parking lot somewhere because I wanted to look something up. And I'm not about to reach over and pull my laptop out of my backpack, but I'll pull my phone out and do it. Yeah. So, that almost goes without saying. The one thing I haven't set up because I'm anxious to is the voice mode or vocal mode or speech modes, so that you can talk to it and have conversations with it. I'm really intrigued by that because I feel like that will teach me more, or it will teach me more about how to interact with it.
How about you, Marty? Have you done a lot of interaction with ChatGPT on your phone?
No, because I'm generally sitting in front of my desk right here most of the day, and that's where I'm using it. I use a piece that's sort of 201, and I'll talk about this, but and it was inspired by something Jeff said to me and showed me. I think it might have been at the last MacStock about you can have your AI all on your own device. It doesn't have to be, and this was before Apple came out with the idea of it being device specific. And he said, you can just use these, and this is a program you can download to do it, so it's within there. And I thought, well, instead of going out to the open world and looking for all sorts of things, say I want to do a workshop on trauma counseling. Well, I get about 4 or 5 articles on trauma counseling and in PDFs, and I can put it in there into ChatGPT, and then do my prompt engineer around creating workshop, asking it to draw from the information that's in that content. So it's not going out and getting random stuff from websites, random stuff from blog posts. It's using material that I'm feeding it to generate what I need. So it's like looking at the ingredients that you put in a meal that you're cooking. This is what you want to have as the output of the meal. You got to put in the right ingredients for it to happen. So that's sort of a 201 tool that I'll talk about.
All right. Cool. Eric, I'm going to bring you in on this. Do you subscribe to ChatGPT, or do you just use the general tools?
No, I just use the general ones. Occasionally, there'll be a project at work where we'll run it through. I think we can't use ChatGPT at work. I think we have to use one of the Microsoft tools, but
Copilot, same here.
Similar concept. I'm actually, in some ways, kind of looking forward to that whole concept of that Marty was talking about of you need to feed it something to kind of get it started. And I think going forward, that might even be an opportunity for artists and other creatives to basically assemble a starter kit on a particular subject and then let people use that to kind of fine tune something. And I'm hoping that something like that is possible, and there'll be a way to kind of market and sell kind of the ingredients.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to bring this. This was a great topic. I wanted to bring this up just because AI is here to stay. We're going to be using these tools for years and years to come, and getting people to accept that. We've talked about previous that you think that your job's going to be taken over by AI. It's possible. I don't see it really happening because you need to have somebody be able to actually ask AI something or to find out about something and be able to get the job done. Most corporations are looking at this tool as an efficiency tool because of the fact that you can save hours, and it really is true. I've done it many times at work, but I've saved hours upon hours of things that I would have normally done manually. It would have took a lot longer time. Whereas doing it in a controlled environment in the enterprise on Copilot is really going to be very helpful for those kind of folks, and then those who use it outside of work, and which is all of us here, and have a way to being able to utilize the tool even further. I mean, I've done demonstrations showing how you can create PowerPoint or keynote presentations very easily. The ways you can put together all kinds of notes. I've done it for Macstock at least this year. It's gonna help me along. I've done it for presentations for speaking at Mac user groups and put that together, making it so much easier to bring all that into one place. And then you edit it and customize it to your liking. You don't have to. I hope most people are not taking the easy way out by putting all that information in and just taking it all what it provides you. Customize it, make it the way make it personalized to you. So powerful.
When somebody asks you, AI is going to take over your job, your response should be yes, it already has. And I'm using it as
helping me do my job better.
Yeah.
But you know what, Dave? I think you just made an important point there. Like that, because it's the way I look at it. I let it get me part of the way there, and if I like it, fine. But usually, I want to tweak it. It's just it's not. It might be a little too computer sounding, if you will. Doesn't fit my style. But I'm kind of looking at it like, and Marty, since I know you're into cooking too, you go to the store and buy some frozen lasagna, and then maybe add some spices to it or whatever, and make it your own. And that's not cheating. That just means that you're using something to help get you a long way down the road toward an objective, unless you have the time or the inclination and the skill to do it from scratch. And I think that's something, if people start to look at it that way, I think they will use it and they will start to understand it a little more and then go to the next level.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add anything else before we move on from this topic? I think a lot of great discussion. I'll continue to talk about Apple Intelligence and AI in general as on future shows, just because it's always going to be something we're going to be working and using for many years to come, I think. So let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna go to the news for this week. First story I want to talk about. Actually, this is an app I wanted to actually share with everybody. If you're not already aware, I think most of us here are big OWC fans. Other World Computing. Well, today they released a My OWC for iOS. It's a streamlined setup, support, and ownership experience. And what it does is it allows you to be able to put all the products that you own and have an effortless place to go and look for quick start and setup resources, product-specific alerts, easy product management, and it allows you to be able to put it in one place so you don't have to go searching for it all the time, and be able to see what's going on and what OWC releases for many of these products. I don't know if anybody was aware of this that just came out, but I wanted to call it out, and you should check it out. What do you guys think? What do you think, Chuck?
Hey, I'm into this because I've got
in fact, I was just going like, well, I've got that.
I know I've got an embarrassing number of OWC products here.
Yeah, me
so
too.
It would be kind of nice to have sort of a curated automatic update system, or as informational as well as just software updates. So I'm all over this. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was a lot of fun here, and the good thing is I've already added some stuff in here, and it says everything looks good. We aren't aware of any issues. So if you have your products in there, if an issue comes up, right on the homepage, it actually tells you where this is at. And then, I've got, and you can see on the screen here, I've got all the products. It's hard to focus, but they're all listed there, and I can go through all of them and pick them and go right to the videos, manuals, setup, quick start guides. It's all right there. So check that out.
So
anything to add, Jeff?
Okay, so this is for keeping track of all the OWC products you own, not all the stuff you own.
No, you customize it the way you want.
Oh, okay. Now it just became a lot cooler.
Yeah. It's like I've got the Thunderbolt Go dock, I've got the Thunderbolt Hub, I've got the 14-port Thunderbolt. Embarrassing, I should even read all this. The Envoy Pro Mini, and so on and so forth. And you can go to each one of the products and you click it. You'll get right to the you go right to the manuals and the quick start guides without having to go to the website and do that. I think this is ingenious.
Does it sell you stuff?
It lets you go out to their site and you can find out more about it. If you go to under you can go under Discover, and it'll show some of the new things they have, and they get some advertisements, events, news, and stuff like that. But no, it doesn't really. I guess it doesn't really sell you stuff. It just allows you to. If you click the breadcrumbs on the top left, you can actually go to social media as well as visit owcs.com to go buy stuff. But it's more, I think, as an aggregator for all the products that you happen to own. And I thought this is a great thing to have for
that is cool
for any of us that are enthusiasts. So
I would imagine it locks people into their product line for people who already have it, and it could solve a lot of problems in terms of accessing information like manuals and other sort of content stuff that you could get within the app instead of having to search all over to find it.
Yep.
I know.
Anything else you want?
Yeah, I know. I just heard about this from Dave, but the more I think about it, the more this makes sense, because too many companies have apps that, they tell you what the product is and they tell you how wonderful it is. Maybe they give you a link out to to a manual or something. But the idea of a company, especially a company like OWC that has such a wide variety of products, being able to put that right in the palm of your hand, I mean, that's kind of brilliant.
It is. So.
Okay, here's what
Eric,
I want
any
this thing
OWC
to do.
products? Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm totally talking over you.
No, that's okay.
I want this to be way more than it is, just because that'd be so cool. Like go around and just scan codes or serial numbers or whatever off all my devices, and then it knows what those things are, automatically adds everything into a database, regardless of manufacturer. Excuse me. And then comes back with things like, hey, because you own all of this stuff, here's the OWC toolkits that would be most useful for you. Or you've got all these devices. Here are the things that you can use to most efficiently connect all of them together without having to buy a crap ton of USB-C hubs or whatever. I want it to help make my setup more efficient.
That could be
that's not a big ask for a free app, right?
Yeah. But it's limited down to, desktop storage and portable storage and internal storage and docks, memory cards and rack mount storage. So who knows? It might it might come up later.
Yeah, this is a 1.0
more
1.0 version of the app, Jeff. Give it time.
Oh, and to be clear, I'm not complaining. I'm just tossing that out because I'm sure the entire OWC team stops everything they're doing every Thursday evening to watch In Touch with iOS, and they're taking notes and like, oh yeah, okay, we need to add that. That'll be a 1.5 feature. That's 2.0, whatever. But they're going to roll them all in.
Yep,
that is really nice. Oh, sorry.
I was waiting for you to give us some of your feedback. I saw you already got the app downloaded.
Getting the app out, and I was looking at it thinking, oh, yeah. And then I need that, and I was getting my product out and scanning, and yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Got everybody excited about it. Yeah. So check it out. Links in the show notes. Next story, I want to talk a little about the Kindle. The Kindle app this week got its biggest iOS change in over a decade. Amazon did an update to include the Get Book button that links users directly to purchase pages on Amazon's website. Purchase pages on Amazon's website, following a recent court ruling that, of course, Apple was blocking that stuff. I don't want to get into the whole discussion, but you now can do that from the Kindle app. Being able to do that, and you're going to start seeing more and more of these happening. It's now it's open to do that. So, anybody use a Kindle app on iOS?
Oh, yes, yeah. And I hadn't even noticed this button because I've been trained so well to not
go back
use the Kindle app for getting books. But there it is. Yep. So that's super cool.
So without Dave, I'll respect what you're saying, and we're not going to get to the court case. But what's going to be really interesting is what happens if the court decision gets reversed. Will that button disappear or not? That's what's going to really be interesting.
How they're going to force everybody to do it, it's going to be another challenge. So,
yeah, that's true. But just, it feels like some folks have really jumped on taking advantage of this right now because they see an opportunity for money as well as information. And so what happens if that were to get reversed and Apple was no longer required to do this? So stay tuned.
Definitely stay tuned for many products that are doing this. So is this a sad story or not? I don't know. Skype is shut down after 22 years, end of an era of internet calling. Microsoft's Skype is finally shut down, concluding its 22-year tenure as the once dominant internet calling messaging service. Microsoft acquired Skype in 2011 for $8.5 billion, in what was then the largest ever acquisition. And at its peak, Skype had more than 300 million monthly active users and was synonymous to internet-based voice and video calling. For many, Skype was one of the first experiences of speaking to somebody halfway across the world for free, and everybody got excited about that. I don't think we have to say much else about Skype, but what it did I know for us, many of us did podcasting with Skype for a long time. I don't know, it's an end of an era. And I don't know, is anybody here sad? Are you sad, Jeff?
From a nostalgia standpoint, yes. From a functionality use standpoint, no, because it stopped being the leading tool in the category, and that crown moved over to other products like Zoom, for example.
That's what did it. During the pandemic,
and
Zoom,
Skype just
took off.
Microsoft failed to keep up with Zoom during the pandemic, and that was that. But I think Microsoft already had their sights on getting everyone off of Skype, and so it's just a matter of time. It's just kind of sad that Microsoft's alternative for all those Skype users that are still out there is Chuck's favorite program, Teams.
Teams. Go ahead, Chuck.
I am sad that the Skype that was there from its inception until Microsoft bought it is gone. But Skype died when Microsoft got it. Because it became increasingly unreliable. They kept monkeying around with the interface, moving things around, and making it not compatible with some of the utilities that we all used to do podcasting. And so we went and sought other solutions. And Dave, you said it. I mean, they were the king of the hill, and they completely dropped the ball on it and let Skype run. Pardon me, but Zoom and others run right past them. And now they've decided to kill this instead of improving it in favor of something that is, I'll be polite and say, subpar. Nah, sorry.
Yeah.
I love hate. I love hate with Skype, but the hate part is all that's left from the love.
Yep. Eric, what's your thoughts on Skype?
I just missed the sounds.
Yeah,
that was the most exciting part. I think you could do a whole little podcast just dedicated to the Skype sound coming in.
Yeah, we need to get that sound on Chuck's ringtone, like Jeff just said in our private chat.
No.
I just found it on the Internet Archive.
Yeah.
So I'll and there's my download options. All right, so Chuck, I'm gonna have a new ringtone for you.
Knock yourself out.
I found a Skype soundboard. If on the internet, where it has all the Skype sounds on it. I was just playing with.
Wow.
In the meantime, I am dancing on Skype's grave. Let me tell you why. I worked with international teachers for years. When they came here 15, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, Skype was the vehicle for them to be able to contact back home without long, expensive, calling cards that they had to use. I've had a Skype account, and every year I'm reminded that I have a Skype account because I get billed for it, and I never use it. And every year I get lost in the hedge maze of trying to get the account canceled, and have always wound up with problems. By the end of it, I'm Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I'm sitting back there frozen, and I just wait for another year. And so it's gone. It's dead. It can't charge me anymore.
Don't bet on
unless
it, Marty.
It rolls over into a personal Teams account.
Oh my gosh. So RIP. Other story here, Netflix is launching a redesigned TV experience, AI search, and improved recommendations. Netflix announced the launch of a new Netflix TV experience that will be available in the Netflix app for Apple TV. Netflix is testing a redesigned version of its TV app since last year, and and its new look is a notable departure from its current design. In fact, there's a link of a video of looking at Netflix over the years. So the new homepage is more streamlined, modern design. Netflix designed it to put content front and center. And I never was a huge fan of their interface. It was always hard to find things. I hope this is going to be much more improved. What do you think on this, Marty?
I'm using Netflix less and less. There are a few programs that I want to go to, and when they've run their course on Netflix, I still have an account. I forget about it. My wife, I don't think, is using it. So until the new season of whatever comes out, that I have to go back to Netflix. It's one of those accounts that I'm that close to closing, because the cost keeps going up and the value that I'm getting for it isn't. So,
okay. How about you, Chuck?
If they improve the search, that's great, because that's sort of the way that I use Netflix. I'm not one of those people that is looking for something to watch all the time, because I've got a watch list as long as your arm that I'm so far behind on. So I just have to go to my watch list and say, okay, now how do I find it? So, if for the folks out there that are looking for discovery and looking for something to do on a Wednesday night when they have nothing else to do, okay, fine. Good. It definitely will benefit Netflix.
Yeah, for sure. And Eric, what do you think?
I am now in an off year for Netflix.
Oh, yeah?
Mostly because I really wanted a native on the Vision Pro, and then it wasn't. And I was disappointed, and so I said, okay, fine, I'll come back next year. But it's a new interface. That's exciting. So soon I will try it again and see what happens.
Yep.
I'm ever hopeful.
Jeff, your thoughts? Jeff?
All right. So I'll preface this with I don't have Netflix anymore. When they did their most recent price increase, I was like, yeah, it hasn't been worth what I'm paying. And so I'm stopping now. That said, doing anything that improves discoverability is great because discoverability, it's not just Netflix. It sucks pretty much across the board on the various services. So if the AI search improves discoverability and the recommendations are more appropriate, great. I'm all for it, even if I'm not subscribing to Netflix right now.
Okay. All right. So go check it out. Next story, Google Gemini has now have some iPad optimization, and the app has got this updated this week. It's add a iPad friendly interface, allowing the AI assistant to take up the full real estate of the iPad display because you had to run the iOS version of the app. The app has been compatible on both. Now it's both iPhone and iPad since it's launched, but the latest update now gives it a iPad fresh view and not the iPhone sized interface. Again, it's got the new full screen as well as adding a home screen widget, as well as it can connect with your Google Photos library. As we know, in Google, as all the AI tools, Gemini is free to use, but they have an advanced version from more advanced stuff. Anybody here use Gemini much? We did talk a little bit on ChatGPT. Any thoughts on it?
I think the interesting construction would be if the external places that Apple Intelligence will let you go include multiple AI systems. And so you pick your whatever poison you're most familiar with, and then think of it also as that you have multiple AI systems, LLMs that are competing with each other from a price standing and from what their abilities are. And you get a nice little competition because right now it feels like they're working in isolation and doing their own thing. Either you're using Gemini because you're connected with Google, or you're connected with Microsoft, or you're using Copilot. But once getting them under an Apple or over an Apple umbrella, I think might allow for some interesting competition between the services.
Yep. Anything else anybody want to add? All right. Apple Music did launch a new viral playlist fueled by Shazam activity. Apple, of course, acquired Shazam nearly 7 years ago, and since then, the music discovery service has had a number of integrations with Apple Music. The latest is a viral chart playlist for Apple Music that users now are powered by the daily Shazam data. It just launched this on the web, and Apple Music users will want to go straight to the playlist section to do this. Another way to be able to get a lot more songs that you can discover through Shazam. You guys still use Shazam? I use it fairly amount because now that's integrated, especially into the iPhone, that it's much easier to use. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, no, I definitely use it, and I use it. I'm out someplace or at a conference where there's music that I don't normally hear. I have no idea what it is. It's really nice. Pop it up, tells you what it is, keeps track of it. So yeah,
Jeff,
this is neat.
Jeff, you've been using Shazam much?
Like Eric, I use it quite a bit. Same way. I'm out somewhere, I hear something where I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so I will Shazam it. And now that you have a a history of what you have Shazammed, it's actually useful for me. Because what I had to do before was Shazam, screenshot, and then later on. But now, so yes, I use Shazam quite a bit.
Chuck, do you as well?
Microphone, Chuck.
You're muted again.
Same use case. I don't use it. I use it in spurts. For some reason, it seems like I will run into music that I'm not familiar with, that really sounds interesting. I'd like to explore a little more. Then I'll go for a few weeks where there's just nothing that I run into. So I don't know, maybe that's the time of year and we're not out, or I'm not out moving around like I might be during the summer, but it always amazes me just how effective it is. That even in a noisy environment, it'll pick up the music and tell you what it is.
Yep, for sure. Next story, it's Marty's favorite show. It got renewed. It's Seth Rogen's The Studio for season 2. It's ahead of the finale, so the finale hasn't even come out yet, and it's already being renewed for the second season. They got Apple TV Plus did get a green light for the second season. The holiday satire, co-created and starring Seth Rogen, is right after its finale, which will be in a couple weeks on May 21st, 2025. It's been earning some critical acclaim as well as a sharp take on the industry. So why is this important? It reflects how the strong performance and its cultural impact that's out there, especially with the way it premiered right after Severance season 2. Has anybody watched this show at all?
It's on my list, but like Chuck, my list is far too long, and I just haven't gotten to it yet.
And I'm with Marty. I'm not a Seth Rogen fan at all. So until somebody gives me another compelling reason to watch this, no.
That's your feeling, Marty?
Yeah, it hasn't changed. And is there an artist that when you see on the screen, Dave, that just is like, ugh, that makes you go, ugh? Because I want to know what that artist is, because I'm going to start watching that show. There's got to be, I mean, all of us have those artists that are like, my wife doesn't like Brad Pitt because she says there's something about his upper lip that just drives me crazy. For me, it's Seth Rogen. It's just.
Well, this is going to screw up my Google algorithm. Brad Pitt upper lip.
Oh my God! All right, moving on.
Well, I can't unsee those pictures.
Apple has introduced the 2025 Pride collection. It's ahead of the Pride month. It's got the new Watch Pride Edition, sports band, watch face, and iPhone and iPad wallpaper to celebrate. And it's got some rainbow stripes, very, very varying in shape and size. And I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I think, Jeff, I think we both bought the band from last year.
The one with the sprinkledes on it. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, I am a big fan of the Pride watch bands. I think they've come up with some cool designs, and I like that I have something that I can wear around that shows my support for the LGBTQ plus community, and it's actually been really, really cool. The sprinkledy one, especially, people will see it. They just see it as a cool watch band. Excuse me, and it's been a catalyst for a lot of really good interactions with people, conversations in support of the LGBTQ plus community. So I have to decide if I want to get this one too. I do like the new one.
Yeah, I this will be the first band that I buy, and sort of what got me was. It's unique the way it's constructed. As I said earlier, it's kind of unique in that they're just putting the stuff together like Warby Parker does with their glasses, and the plastic or the the watch band is coming out with unique combinations. So it's sort of like NFTs, except
but in a good way.
Yeah, it's you know how much our president likes NFTs, but the idea of having something unique, and it also is interesting because that kind of represents that whole movement that everybody's not watching wearing the same watch band. So yeah, so I've got one on order, and we'll see how that plays out for me.
Marty, the sprinkledy one from last year, same thing.
Oh, okay.
They're all unique. So it's cool that they are continuing to do that.
Yep. Chuck, Eric, want to add anything to this?
I just like the for the backgrounds that go along with these, the interactivity. And the more we get of that, the better.
Yep. All right. Last two stories here. This is related to the Apple Card. Daily cashback from T-Mobile is going to be dropping to 2% in July. Apple has partnered with multiple merchants to provide the 3% daily cashback for Apple Card purchases, and T-Mobile has participated in the program since its inception in 2019. That's going to end in July, then the cashback will go down to 2%. I think the main reason this happened is because T-Mobile stopped allowing you to use a credit card without losing all your discounts. So, if I would have continued to use my Apple Card, I would have lost almost, I think, close to $100 worth of discounts for all the lines I have in my account. So that makes total sense. A lot of people pulled it away and just have a direct to your checking account instead, which they don't have to pay those fees. So makes sense. That so no surprise here. So anybody want to add anything to this? And last story on the Apple Card is they are going to offer a 6-month trial of Uber One. We'll all be eligible for that Uber One service, and it's going to be an email that Apple started beginning to send out today as we record this. The app Uber One subscription includes 0 delivery fees for Uber Eats and up to 10% off eligible deliveries and pickup orders, as well as 6% Uber One credits for Uber rides. So it says it's going to be a benefit for the Apple Card worth $10 a month, and the free trial would be up to a $60 value. So, hey, nice little perk there for the Apple Card. Since we still don't know what the status of Apple Card is with Goldman Sachs, it's still they're still doing some things, right? So, all right. And before we wrap up here, I just want to make sure I mention MacStock. MacStock 9 is going to be here soon enough. It's July 11th, 12th, 13th. Everybody on the panel this week is going to be there, and we're going to have an absolute blast. There's just a great way to meet people, see old friends and new friends. It's just an absolutely great time for all, and you can easily register. It's not a bad deal. You get 3 full days, includes workshops as well as great presentations. Marty is going to be speaking, I'm speaking, and Jeff is speaking, and we have so many others. All you got to do is go to the website, max.conferenceandexpo.com, and come check it out. Chuck is going to be starting up the Road to MacStock episodes very shortly here, so you get to meet all the presenters. We're looking forward to that. But if you go to that website and you use the offer code of InTouch50 at checkout, you will save $50 off of the admission price for that 3-day event. I also have a link to the hotel. You can actually get a really good deal on the hotel rooms, and we're going to be at the Holiday Inn. It's in Crystal Lake, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago, and they have a great conference center there. So that means we don't have to leave if you don't want to. You got our rooms there as well as the conference right there. So you don't have to go anywhere. So last year was the first year for that. It's our second year in that location. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, everybody here can't wait, and we would love to see you. So come check us out. Again, max.conferenceandexpo.com. Use the offer code InTouch50 at checkout. Save yourself $50. Everybody can't wait, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Can't wait.
So with that, let's go ahead and wrap up. That is a great show this week. Had a lot of great discussions. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on BlueSky and Mastodon at InTouchWithIOS. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. We saw Brian F. in the chat, as well as Webb, Bixby, and a number of others were in the chat. You can be following along with us live as we record. We'll leave the live stream up there, as well as you can watch it later, as well as you'll be able to listen to past shows. Go to visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped in that magazine. We'll link is in our show notes. You can listen to the show on your favorite podcatcher, which is Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, many others. But better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on BlueSky or Mastodon at DaveG65. And Chuck Joyner, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Excuse me, guys. MacVoices.com. That's where, as Dave said, we're kicking off the road to MacStock by talking to all the speakers, or at least as many as we can find before the event. The NAB interviews are still dribbling out. I'm interspersing those with our regular content. And of course, there's all the other great Mac Voices stuff that is there any other time. And on social medias, you can find me as @ChuckJoyner. Dave, thanks as always.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. Eric Bolden, thank you for being here. Where can people find you?
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden, at techhub.social. And
great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Marty Jencius, thank you always for being here. Where can people find you?
Although Eric doesn't like to admit it, I join him on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Vision Profiles, where we talk about Vision Pro and other AR, VR stuff. Tuesday nights with Chuck and Mac Voices, a good group, a great show, and good interviewing style of Chuck when he asks the questions that he asks. Wednesdays with my own thing with the Old Mac Gang. I'm also doing a podcast with my son, Gear Up and Go, and he'll be joining us at MacStock to talk about travel gear and have some fun with that, with some giveaways. And then Thursdays here with Dave Ginsburg, and occasionally occasionally Fridays with the Mac Show on the British Tech Network.
Thanks, Barney. Last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet. Always a pleasure having you here. Where can people find you?
I'm so glad that everything worked out so I could be here tonight, because it is a lot of fun to hang out with you. So let's see. How about social media? Jay Gamet everywhere, but I'm posting on Mastodon and PixelFed and some on BlueSky. Then for shows, here we go. Tuesdays on Chuck's Mac Voices Live, here on Thursdays for Dave's In Touch with iOS. On the British Tech Network, Thursdays for The Big Show, Fridays for The Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
All right. Thank you so much, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Hope you enjoyed it. We all enjoy doing it. And until next time, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.